Governor Akeredolu restates people in Katsina as federal government blames disasters on lack of proactive measures among state government. And from the foreign scene, protests over death of Iranian girl in moral police custody enters fourth week despite clampdown. Tonight on the news, I am Oyewumi Ayinigbara. The Ondo State government has launched the maiden online classified marketplace with the assurance that it will expose entrepreneurs' products and services to the world. The platform, known as www.ondomarket.com, will provide avenue for business owners and entrepreneurs to upload their innovative products and services, buy and sell from one another, as well as position their businesses for global brand visibility. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu at the 2022 Entrepreneurs Summit held at the International Center for Culture and Events, the Dome, Akure, reassured of his administration's commitment to creating an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. Government House correspondent Wahab Bankole reports that the event also featured presentation of grants to innovative entrepreneurs from across the state.
The presence of Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu at the International Culture and Events Center, the Dome in Akure, for the 2022 Entrepreneurs Summit underlined the commitment of the present administration to creating jobs for the people. Governor Akeredolu, who restated his administration's passion to making the state more investors-friendly, noted that no effort will be spared in creating enabling environment for entrepreneurs and business owners. The governor pointed to efforts on security and infrastructure development by his administration as some of the steps aimed at making the state investors' haven.
So many people have one thing and another to talk about the great war that is being done in India, geared towards eradication of poverty, job creation, and economic development in Ondo State and Nigeria in general. I am optimistic that we are not just going to have an enabling environment in Nigeria, but also an attractive business environment in Ondo State. Go to Udoni industries again. Go to Esman industries that come up. We are having a business district here. The deep business district, just right opposite to the others. Work has started there. They will have there also befitting houses that people can stay, so that within the business district, you can go buy shopping complexes, hospital, everything is there. We are trying to build the smart city.
Governor Akeredolu, while assuring that entrepreneurship will continue to remain a priority in the state, says the benefits of the maiden online classified marketplace platform known as www.ondomarket.com are numerous.
Where you can upload your innovative products and services is one of you. I would believe that as a state, we must encourage business listing for our entrepreneurs. To list your business so you can showcase your business to the world, so that anyone from around the world can easily locate your businesses in the state.
High point of the event was the presentation of grants to 10 innovative entrepreneurs from across the state, in addition to foreign tours designed to foster networking opportunities and global awareness, as well as innovative approach to preferring economic solutions to the advancement of the state and the country. From the International Culture and Event Center, the Dome in Akure, Wahab Bankoli, Osrc News.
Ondo State House of Assembly says good governance will become a reality in Nigeria when transparency and accountability become the watchwords of public office holders. The House, while rounding off its interface with ministries, departments, and agencies on year 2019 to 2020 audited report of the State Auditor General, said it will not rest on its oars at ensuring that government funds are accounted for. House of Assembly correspondent Omoshiliola Adesoye has more.
Consequent upon the submission of Auditor General's report on audited queries for the year 2019 to 2020, the Public Accounts Committee of the Ondo State House of Assembly invited concerned ministries, departments, and agencies. The Chairman, House Committee on Public Accounts, Festus Adefinoye, while stressing the importance of prompt retirement of public funds collected by civil servants, charged accounting officers to be on top of their jobs and ensure proper record keeping in their various establishments.
Just to ensure that all the MDAs in the state, they try to put transparency to everything that they are doing. The money they collect belong to the good people of Ondo State. And the good people of Ondo State must know how they spend their money. And once the money is being spent, they must retire it. That is all we are doing. So every query in the Auditor General, we have to, it's a statutory responsibility to look at it and ensure that all the queries are attended to.
He opined that good governance can exist when financial resources are effectively utilized for the benefit of the citizenry. Adefinoye, who commended the Auditor General for prompt submission of the report, also charged MDAs to ensure efficiency and accountability in discharging their duties. Some heads of MDAs and accounting officers expressed delight at how the lawmakers handle public funds issues. They noted that Ondo State belongs to all, hence the need for those entrusted with public office to be transparent in how public funds are handled. Omoshiliola Adesoye, Osrc News.
The Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Governing Council Adekunle Ajashi University, Akungba Akoko, Dr. Tunji Abayomi, has promised a renewed effort to convince the Ondo State government to bend over backwards to increase its funding of the university. Dr. Abayomi made the promise after the inaugural meeting of the 7th Governing Council, noting that the impact of inadequate funding on a university can be more devastating than can be imagined. Mr. Abayomi noted that the 7th Council would, among other things, focus on how to make the business school function maximally, expand the university in terms of new programs, improve academic rating for global relevance, and enhance staff welfare.
The university substantial in terms of new programs. As an example, the business school, we are hoping that we will raise a world-class business school. We will also, through the various faculties and institutions that we have, increase income to the university. We hope to raise our commitment to the welfare of staff of the university, actually the university community. We also are going to develop in a very special way the academic rating of the university in terms of getting the remuneration for work done. Salaries are, at least for the past 1 year, gotten delayed And a lot of the university, members of the university community depend on this salary. So when it's not coming on time, it's a lot of dysfunctionality and planning for them. But it is important for the members of the university community to appreciate that it is never intended, and that both the management and the council want to do everything that is possible to reduce this structural disorder of payment of salary. But as we work to generate more income for the university, things will be a little easier. We are determined to do that because what we get from the university is simply not sufficient. I mean, from the government, it's not even sufficient to pay the salary. So,
the Pro-Chancellor said that his second coming as Pro-Chancellor would enable him to contribute more to the development of the university and the state at large. He urged staff members to double their commitment and dedication to their duties and to deepen cooperation with management in order to engender a university everyone can be proud of. Meanwhile, the University of Medical Sciences, UNIMED, Ondo City, Ondo State, is set to blaze the trail in the field of pharmacy with the construction of a world-class Faculty of Pharmacy building in a permanent site of the university and the introduction of an innovative degree program. The Faculty of Pharmacy is named after Chief Olu Akinkugbe, one of the foremost pharmacists in the history of Nigeria. The Olu Akinkugbe Pharmacy Education Trust, OAPET, in collaboration with the university at an event held at Victoria Island, Lagos State, signed a contract with a construction company to start the construction of Phase 1 of the faculty building, expected to be completed within 1 year. UNIMED Vice Chancellor Professor Adeshegun Fatusi noted the importance and the need to reposition pharmacy education in Nigeria given the challenges bedeviling the country's health sector.
Whole agenda around the Olu Akinkugbe Faculty of Pharmacy at the University of Medical Sciences in Ondo. The whole journey started a while back, about last year. We have a trust fund that Chief Olu Akinkugbe himself had driven and put together, and the whole process of starting the faculty, which is named after him, and that is because he's not just a great Nigerian, but one of the foremost Nigerian pharmacists, and a man who is committed to excellence in many respects, in many dimensions of life, and passionate about tertiary education. So our purpose this morning is to be able to sign the contract, sign the agreement with the contractor who has been selected to start the building of that faculty at our main site in Ondo. So that is the reason why we have gathered this morning.
UNIMED Vice Chancellor Professor Adeshegun Fatusi speaking there on the construction of world-class pharmacy building in UNIMED. And still talking education, the University of Lagos has produced its first ever female Vice Chancellor, Professor Folashade Ogunshola. A professor of microbiology at the College of Medicine, Ogunshola will succeed the outgoing Vice Chancellor, Professor Toyin Ogundipe, whose tenure elapses next month. Professor Ogunshola had served as acting Vice Chancellor when Professor Ogundipe was temporarily removed following the crisis that erupted in the institution 2 years ago before its reinstatement by the federal government. She has also served as the Provost of the College of Medicine and Deputy Vice Chancellor. The chairman of the university's governing council, Senator Larry Tejosho, had earlier promised that a new Vice Chancellor would be chosen through a credible and transparent process. Away from education, as part of efforts to alleviate the impact of flood in Bayelsa State, the state government has directed that all primary and secondary schools in the state immediately proceed on 6-week flood break. The flood break, which is compulsory for both private and public schools, is expected to protect students from any adverse effect of the flood. Aside directing the closure of all primary and secondary schools, the Doye government also constituted a task force to recognize high grounds that persons affected by the flood can relocate to, while all closed water canals in the state are being opened up to reduce the impact of the disaster. Massive flooding has been experienced in many coastal and non-coastal parts of Nigeria in the last few weeks due to excessive floods and inflow from external places like Cameroon, with over 300 people killed by devastating floods across the country in 2022. Also in Katsina, no fewer than 24 persons have been killed and over 16,000 houses destroyed in Katsina State as a result of flood and windstorm. The State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, in a statement said more than 1,600 farmlands were submerged in Danja, Igawa and Kafar local government areas of the state. SEMA said farm produce estimated to cost millions of naira were destroyed as a result of the disaster. The statement noted that the agency had assessed the affected houses and farmlands in order to assist the victims, as the state government would soon start distribution of relief materials to the victims. And now the Hydrological Services NISA has blamed subnational, including state and local governments, for disregarding adequate and timely warnings and weather advisories issued by the various federal government agencies to avert flood disaster in 2022. NIHSA Director General Clement Inze said if the early warning from the various agencies had been taken seriously, the flood disaster ravaging many parts of the country would not have been as devastating as they are. He also said the Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, earlier in the year wrote letters to state governors informing them of the impending devastating floods of 2022, but some of the governors did not heed the warning. Nze insisted that the weather predictions were out early enough to set the tone for what to expect in the course of the year. You're still on to Osrc News at 7. After the break, we'll bring you more stories. Please stay with us. Thank you very much for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook OSRC TV Ondo, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. The number of Lassa fever confirmed cases has increased to 933 as of October 2nd, 2022, according to the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention (NCDC). The Lassa fever outbreak has killed 173 people in the country so far in the year. The situation reports for week 39 by NCDC showed that the cases were reported in 25 states and 102 local government areas. The NCDC noted that of all confirmed cases, 71% are from Ondo, Edo, and Bauchi states. President Muhammadu Buhari has charged politicians to avoid campaigns of calumny in the build-up to the general election scheduled for the first quarter of 2023. In his goodwill message to Muslims on the occasion of Maulud to celebrate the birthday of the Prophet Muhammad, the president urged politicians to avoid the unwanted culture of demeaning and humiliating opponents. The president, for the upteenth time, promised that he will ensure free, fair, and transparent elections in 2023. President Buhari also called on all Nigerians to join the government in ongoing efforts to eradicate insecurity and corruption. Meanwhile, the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, says it is a miracle that Nigeria is still one till date. At the 2022 International Youth Convention of the Church, Adeboye said he believes God still answers prayer and thus recommended that Nigerians should not stop seeking the face of God. The octogenarian and revered cleric thereafter declared 7 days of fasting and prayers for the country from November 26 to December 2. In October 2020, Adeboye had said Nigeria must be restructured as soon as possible to prevent disintegration. The Police Service Commission has approved of the promotion of 40 Deputy Commissioners of Police to the substantive rank of Commissioners of Police. The Commission has also approved accelerated promotion for 2 Assistant Commissioners due to existing vacancy in the medical cadre. The new Commissioners of Police were promoted after an interactive session and interview with the Commission at the plenary meeting chaired by retired Justice Clara Ogunbiyi. A statement issued in Abuja said the Commission also approved the promotion of CP Abdul Yari Lafia and CP Rodolphe Echebi to the rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police. The Lagos State Special Offences Court sitting in Ikeja has convicted and sentenced an Italian woman, Floriana De Stefani, to 3 years imprisonment for laying claims to a property belonging to her landlord. Justice Mojisola Dada jailed the foreigner after she found her guilty of one of the 6 counts brought against her by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC). The judge, in her judgment, held that the convict used forged documents to claim the property where she was a tenant after the death of her husband, Luca Sigurelli. The court specifically found her guilty of using false documents and counterfeit seals to confer ownership of the property on herself. The EFCC, on March 30th, 2019, arraigned the convict alongside a Nigerian Stella Oburu on 5 counts, but later amended the charge to 6 counts and dropped the name of our co-defendant from the charge. The Nigerian Immigration Service Kebbi State Command has arrested a cleric while allegedly trafficking 21 children from Nigeria to Mauritania and Senegal through the Kebbi border post. The Islamic cleric, whose name was given as Hussein Idris, a native of Bida in Niger State, was arrested at Kangiwa border post of the Nigerian Immigration Service in Arawa local government area of Kebbi State as it tried to move the children out of the country with fake ECOWAS passports. While briefing journalists in Birnin Kebbi, the state immigration controller Rabi Nuhu said upon interrogation, the cleric claimed he was taking the children to Senegal for Maulud celebration, from where he planned to move them to Mauritania to seek Islamic knowledge. Nuhu warned that the immigration service will not tolerate moving of persons out of the country under any guise to traffic them. While responding to questions from journalists, the cleric Idris claimed he was moving the children to Senegal and Mauritania with the consent of their parents. A former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Vincent Ogbulafo, is dead. Reports say he died of kidney-related issues at a hospital in Canada. The third deputy chairman, Abia State Council of Traditional Rulers, Godfrey Onwuka, broke the news of Ogbulafo's death after speaking to the widow of the deceased, Ifeoma Ogbulafo. Onwuka described as painful the death of Ogbulafo, adding that it is a loss to the entire community. The family of the deceased is expected to announce burial preparations much later. And Abia State Governor Okeze Ikpeazu has expressed sadness over the death of Prince Vincent Eze Ogbulafo at age 73. In a statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Onyebuchi Ememaka, Ikpeazu described late Ogbulafo as a first-class gentleman, an authentic Nigerian leader, and one of the most outstanding Abia indigenes whose sojourn in politics and administration put Abia firmly on the map of Nigerian political development. The statement said the strides of the late Ogbulafo as a Minister of Economic Planning, National Secretary, and later National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party are worthy of emulation. The governor urged Ogbulafo's immediate family to be strong and keep flying the flag of excellence hosted by their father. Meanwhile, Benue State Governor Samuel Autumn, in a statement on today, described the deceased as a true party man. And to the foreign scene, the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA has received 180 Nigerians stranded in Niger Republic on their way to Libya and Algeria to seek greener pastures. Receiving the returnees in Kano, NEMA coordinator, Kano Territorial Office Nuruddin Abdullahi said the victims include 144 male adults, 13 female adults, and 23 children. Abdullahi said the returnees are from different parts of the country, including Lagos, Katsina, Cross River, Kaduna, Bauchi, and Kano states, adding that they will be trained for 4 days to be self-reliant and given startup grants. According to him, the returnees were brought back to Kano through a voluntary reparation program for the distressed that had left the country to seek greener pastures in various European countries and could not afford to return when their journey became frustrated. Schoolgirls chanted slogans, workers went on strike, and street clashes erupted in Iran as protests over the death of Masha Amini entered a 4th week in defense of a bloody crackdown. Anger fled over the death of the 22-year-old Iranian caught on September 16, 3 days after she was arrested in Tehran by the notorious morality police for an alleged breach of the Islamic Republic's strict dress code for women. The protests followed calls for people to take to the streets again overnight. The crackdown has fueled tensions between Iran and the West, especially its arch enemy, the United States. Ultra-conservative President Ibrahim Raisi, who took part in the ceremony at the Tehran University marking the start of the academic year, has blamed the unrest on outside forces. And with that story, we conclude the news tonight. But before we go, a quick look at the top stories. We told you in the news that Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has restated his commitment to entrepreneurial development. The governor made a session at the launch of the Ondo Marketplace, which be accessed through www.ondomarket.com. The event was held at the International Center for Culture and Event, the Dome in Akure. Ondo State House of Assembly has called for accountability from public office holders in the handling of state finances. The House, while rounding off its interface with ministries, departments, and agencies for 2019 to 2020 audited report of the State Auditors General, said it will not rest on its oars at ensuring the government's funds are accounted for. The federal government has blamed state governments and other stakeholders for the flooding being experienced all over the country, as such disaster have claimed 24 lives in Katsina. And that's the news tonight. Thank you very much for your time. Good evening.